What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Hey, if you can believe it, 2023 is about to be officially over. It's been an amazing year, man. We've done so much in this last year. A lot of awesome content that I was able to provide for y'all. A lot of awesome things changing in my life professionally and personally. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you, truly to you who's watching, because what I do, the Shift Method, trying to bring education, trying to shift the culture of health and fitness for people around me, for the South Florida community, and ultimately for the globe, I do it for you guys. You know, trying to make sure that I can provide even a little bit of engagement, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of fun and education in your day-to-day. And again, I truly could not do it without all of you. Everything I do is for the people. So thank you so much for always tuning in. So I just want to share a couple of awesome stats with y'all, and then we're actually going to show some of the highlights over the years, some of the dopest moments I've had. So let's just kind of jump into it. So a big change that I had this year was really emphasizing some longer form content, specifically on the YouTube channel, because while Instagram Reels and some other small form content I did was fun and engaging, I realized there was kind of a gap in giving y'all more long form informative content. And so I'm gonna put up some analytics up here where over this last year, we've had 127 new subscribers. Again, I wanna say a personal thank you to each and every one of you. In total, we had over 76,000 views and 541 hours of total watch time on YouTube. Seriously, that is awesome. Again, I can't thank y'all so much for taking even a few seconds out of your day to hopefully gain some knowledge, to have a little bit of entertainment. That means the world to me. On the Instagram side, we're just at around 930 followers. Again, really appreciate all of you, again, taking a few minutes out of your day, hopefully to learn something, whether it's helping you in the gym, helping you with your mental, helping you build better routines, and just learning something, or again, just a little bit of entertainment. I really appreciate all of you and hope you had some enjoyment from viewing my content. And on the podcast, this is pretty dope. We've been streamed in over 12 different countries across the world. Heck, I knew I had a couple friends that were in other countries, but to hear that we have 12 different countries that are participating and watching the Shift Method podcast, thank you so much. And I really appreciate some of y'all that, you know, we're kind of the Shift Method podcast junkies. Some of you I was in your top 10, some of you I was in your top 5 of podcasts that y'all consume. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I really wanted to say thank y'all so much for always tuning in to all the content we have. And now, let's go ahead and take a peek at what the year looked like for us. Enjoy. I'm announcing that I'm partnering with Train Heroic, my personal training program design app that I use, in making some custom templates. Okay, so I work with people one-on-one online, but I realize that for time's sake and for financial sake, some people may not have the ability to commit to that. So I wanted to make something that is more accessible to people, and so I'm making specific training programs based on various goals. Once you feel like you start losing the momentum and you're no longer getting like up to your chest, it starts going below your chin, it starts getting hard, take a break, reset, and do the set again. Again, the goal is to generate as much force so you get about your chest or a little bit higher over the bar. We're gonna talk about if you injure your hamstring, what do you do? This is an injury that I had back in undergrad and that has kind of gone into remission and then re-aggravated over time. Luckily, I found a strategy that really helps it, and so I haven't really had an issue with it for about 2 years. I did a lot of glute activation, a lot of hammy work. You'll see here I did some static stretching as well, again, to desensitize the tissue. And then, of course, I did a lot of hamstring prep where I did things like glider bridges, glute bridges, and as well as some glute ham raises and some variations of that to strengthen my hamstring over time. And then lastly, of course, we got to reintroduce those exercises, right? So I started bringing back the plyos, started bringing back the hip hinge movements until it was at a place where it didn't bother me anymore. And then I was back to normal training as per usual. man-on defenders in the league like an Alex Caruso or like a LeBron James back in his prime when he was kind of in the defensive top candidates of the league, or some other like smaller guards that you might see that are quite quick, like a Dennis Schroeder, right? You see how quickly they can move laterally to stay in front of their defender, and that is what we're looking for here. The ability to accelerate really quick, stop on almost a dime essentially, and then change their direction. So let me show you what it kind of looks like in like a half-speed movement, right? So again, you're here, and again, you would do this either for like a couple reps or short time, maybe 6 to 15 seconds. It's a power-based exercise, so it should be quick. So I'm here, I'm loading, I'm over, load. Woo! I'll hold that again, man. Too fast, bro, too fast. Here we go, right? I'm here, I'm loading, boom, boom, boom. Notice how I drop lower once I know I'm gonna change direction. I never pop up, my body stays low the entire time, because if I'm up tall, right, if I'm up tall shuffling, I have to go so far down to change my direction, right? So again, at about half speed, I'm here, slow, load, boom, boom, boom. We're not at Johnny O's today, we're actually at Florida Atlantic University's track and field. Beautiful Saturday on May 20th, and today I'm doing the DECA Open Mile.
It's hard as hell for a young Florida boy where we play football and sell dope, man. Gold rims and sticks, 7 trays, no tops, you did candy paints, yo. Gold rims, good dope, make a wonderful summer. Heard I was a genius when it come to the numbers. Do it for the young fathers still signing the lease. And all the hustlers who got something in common with me. If I got the keys, then it's a car I'ma keep. When I line them up, they say I remind them of me. Shootouts in Miami, can't spend no time on the beach. Do or die, get up like I got 100 keys. Border to Florida, she fell in love with life.
Bitch, I'm a Florida boy, 7 threes to them AMGs, now we rolling bars. Yeah, my mama raised me, FLA paid me, I beat all of them cases, I'm on. Yeah, bitch, I'm a Florida boy, old school, big ass rims, still like talking.
I'm in the gym anyways. I could do a 4-range motion, or I could do length and partials. I may as well use whatever's more effective here, right? In that case, you can take the additional roughly 5% of hypertrophy. In other cases where you don't have the equipment or you don't feel like it, like your preference is different, or you have performance goals, right, where you want to still get stronger at the 4-range motion squat or the 4-range motion bench press, etc., it does seem like performance adaptations or getting better at a skill like a 4-range motion bench press, those things are specific. So if you want to get better at that, your training should mostly be 4-range motion and not length and partials. But if you're mainly concerned with hypertrophy, length and partials will likely improve your hypertrophy by about 5%.
Something needs to change. The fitness and health industry needs to change. From the fad diets and bad science to the lack of dialogue amongst coaches and the horrible treatment of clients in our industry, it all needs to change. has your view on like health and fitness shifted as you've become a medical professional? Like, what does that look like for you?
I like to think that a lot of the stuff that we do can be simplified from a personal training and a medical perspective, that it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be something. There's a lot of, research on a ton of different like supplements that you could take, or training pathways, training paradigms, as far as maximizing muscle mass or fat loss or, what have it. But the best research on the simple stuff, walking 30 minutes a day, something like that, as far as cardiovascular risk, mortality, and patients' quality of life, that research is really good. And so what I like to emphasize is keeping it simple, do the basics first, and don't worry about all that stuff until you're really there.
Now I'm gonna squeeze on in, creasing my knees on the pad, toes are pointed up, make sure the back is against me, perfect. And now I'm gonna extend my legs as much as possible and control on the way down. Let's get some reps in.
I think now would be a good time too to kind of clarify the differences between disordered eating and eating disorders, because I think they do often get used interchangeably, but of course one is more extreme than the other. So disordered eating is sort of on that spectrum in between like quote unquote normal eating and then an eating disorder, which is kind of course the full extreme. So disordered eating could totally include symptoms and behaviors of an eating disorder, but it's usually going to be at a lesser frequency, lower level of severity.
It has a lot of different actions. Its main function is going to be hip extension. That's the action of bringing your hip from a forward position in front of you to bringing it back behind you. Think about coming up from a squat or the top of a deadlift where your hips are being pressed forward, or essentially you're straightening your leg or kicking it backwards. Keep my chest up nice and tall. Going nice and slow, really controlling that eccentric as deep as I can go, and then fully extend, press my hips through, squeeze the glutes at the top. And again, I'm still getting a lot of quad here, but I'm really able to target my glutes, try and put as much emphasis on them as possible. Where it's attaching at the base of your skull, going all the way down through your thoracic vertebrae, going down to T12, and then it also goes out towards your collarbone and your shoulder blade, so it has a lot of action on your scapula, and it covers about half or more of your back. I want to be able to let my shoulders protract forward as much as I can, and then when I pull, retract, right? Because those middle fibers are really responsible for shoulder retraction, shoulder blade retraction, and so I want to get them lengthened as much as possible, and then pull them back as I come in.